This is the Northwestern News Report.
Libyan authorities said Jim and his colleagues would be released in a few days. That was 3 weeks ago.
Medill organizers rallied to support one of its former students currently detained in Libya. Hello and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Gabby Gonzalez.
And I'm Alana Aller. Thanks for joining us. For the past few weeks, we've been updating you on the story of James Foley, a Northwestern alum held captive in Libya. This afternoon, the Medill community gathered to rally in his support. NNN's Nina Leff was at the rally and has some on Foley's story. Good evening, Nina.
Good evening, Alana. Today marks 23 days since Gaddafi supporters captured Foley and 3 other journalists outside the city of Brega. Now his friends, family, and the Medill community are joining together to try and bring him home.
Jim was the type of student you don't forget. He made a lasting impression on me.
Courageous, kind, gentle. That's how Medill faculty describe alum James Foley, who graduated from the grad program in 2008.
He's fearless. Fearless in a careful way, not fearless in a take silly chances type of way.
But on April 5th, the carefully fearless Foley was captured in Libya while freelancing for the Global Post.
Journalists in Libya, unlike Iraq and Afghanistan, cannot embed with any kind of military because the U.S. military obviously is not there. So they're on their own, and that makes them particularly vulnerable.
In the more than 3 weeks since Foley's capture, his friends and family have rallied together to make sure his story has the world's attention.
We have a very, very good rogue group put together that's assembled, that's actively participating. They've been on every talk show that we can get them on, CNN, and every publication that we can get them on.
That coordinated effort brought them to Northwestern, where today, about 30 people joined their cause, rallying for Foley's release.
And how about being open about where he is and how soon he's going to come home, or knowing Jim, how soon he's going to get out of jail and go back to work.
While the speakers at the rally want Jim Foley home, they also wanted to convey that he's just a journalist doing his job.
And my hope is that the rally will bring attention to Jim and to other reporters and their plight, and to make it known that there is no reason for them to be held.
Foley was allowed a phone call home and said he's in good health and that he and the other reporters have been treated humanely. Medill faculty members say that call was a good sign, but there's still no word if and when Foley will be released. His supporters encourage everyone to sign a petition for his release. It's available online at freefoley.org, and it already has more than 30,000 signatures.
Thanks, Nina. We'll be sure to keep following this story closely.
The U.S. government might not be publicizing photos of Osama bin Laden's body, but they did release 5 home videos seized from bin Laden's compound in Pakistan. The audio has been wiped, but these home videos show a composed Osama bin Laden speaking to his followers and watching himself on television. The Pentagon released 5 videos Saturday, seized from the Abbottabad, Pakistan compound that housed America's most wanted terrorist.
The U.S. government picked these very carefully, very deliberately to show they're in control, and that bin Laden was vain, he was not in very good circumstances, and that they're now in control of his image.
The videos portray bin Laden with his beard dyed black, intently watching broadcasts of himself. They represent the Obama administration's effort to show material that could only have been recovered in the raid on bin Laden's compound. Other thumb drives, disks, and documents taken from the compound will be analyzed for clues about new threats. The information recovered in the raid indicates that bin Laden was far from just a figurehead in the weeks and months preceding his death.
He had views on operational ideas, operational plans, and he was about trying to use these couriers and these thumb drives that were captured in order to send his directions.
But while the intelligence gained from the compound might indicate al-Qaeda's own terrorist activities, questions linger about the Pakistani government's knowledge of bin Laden's whereabouts.
We think that there had to be some sort of support network for bin Laden inside of Pakistan. But we don't know who or what that support network was.
Pakistan's prime minister addressed its parliament on Monday, saying it is, quote, disingenuous to accuse the Pakistani military or spy agency of being involved with al-Qaeda.
Allegations of complicity or incompetence are absurd. We emphatically reject such accusations.
Gilani says that Pakistan attaches high importance to its relations with the U.S., and his country will continue to fight terrorism within its borders.
When Apple's new iPad hit store shelves, people stayed up for hours and long lines stretched outside Apple stores locally too. I bet you were in line, early in the morning to get one too, right?
Taki, I didn't wake up early enough, but a lot of NU students did. NNN's Nina Leff talked to some of those students and even a Medill professor who were able to get their hands on Apple's newest tech toy.
The iPad is a very cool toy.
When the iPad came out, definitely was something that was very exciting.
I was curious about the iPad, and when I first played with it at Best Buy, it seemed to me like a big iPhone, like everyone had talked about.
I definitely, see a lot of the potential in it, so that's why I was kind of excited to get it and try it out. When you actually interact with the device, that's when you, have the connection.
And this is one thing that's really cool that I like showing everybody is the weather. This is the weather application. This is the weather as it looks right now.
It's certainly another step in the evolutionary process of technology, and we'll just see what happens.
It's something that, won't be a craze, right at the beginning, but I think it will take hold in the next 1 to 2 years.
I think this is where we're headed, so I think it's a smart move to make. It's also fun.
Well, the beauty is, the iPad is not for everyone. Apple didn't make it for everyone. We can't really make technology for everyone, and if you do, you have features that try to appeal to everyone, but then you don't pull them off well. And so I think that's the one thing that Apple has over pretty much every other company. I mean, the features on the iPad are evident in other tablets, other computers, other netbooks, but it's how you pull those features off. If they're simple and they're easy to use and they work, then people will buy it, and I think that's what people will see when they interact with the iPad.
If it works for you, if it meets your needs, use it, buy it, or wait and see where else the market can go.
Good job, Apple. Good job, Steve Jobs.